this is Italian Heritage Month. And you want to just start off right off the bat with your Italian, special Italian for Italian Heritage Month?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Lately I've been, talking about some Italian man or woman who was in history, but we don't read about him. But tonight, because of a special holidays coming up for Italians, I thought that this would be the most appropriate thing because it deals with Italians and our heritage as Italian Americans. Now, our grandparents and our great-grandparents that were, alive before World War II would have experienced this. By 1920, in the United States, the largest group of immigrants who didn't speak English were Italians. And they made up, believe it or not, like 10% of the population of the United States at the time. And they were scattered like all over the United States in Boston, New York, San Francisco, Chicago. And one of the sad things is that they were considered non-white, subhuman, undesirables, and they often could not be employed. And I can share a personal story about my great-granduncle who got arrested in Chicago because he was making liquor in the bathtub because that was the only way he could support his wife and 10 kids. So there were a lot of people struggling that were Italians at this point in history. But then what happened was, when Hitler got into power, the first thing this is something you don't read about, Benito Mussolini contacted Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Because if you recall, in World War I, Italy was an ally to the United States.
Yep.
So he contacts Roosevelt because he wants, hey, I got this guy
Knocking on my door.
I'm going to need some help. Well, Roosevelt pretty much told him where to go.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to help him. So, that cliche, if you
Vafangul.
if you can't beat them,
Join them.
you join them.
Right, that's what he did.
So Mussolini joins Hitler, and what happens here in the United States is now FDR's administration, I won't name the political party, decided that Italians were enemy aliens, like the Japanese.
Yep. Nice.
And what ended up happening, they pretty much, in California, for example, 10,000 Italians were removed from their homes and told to leave the state of California. 600,000 Italians suffered during this period. They were
Internment camps.
in
Internment
camps. They were placed in camps.
Make sure you mention that.
They were placed in camps like the
Yeah.
Japanese.
You went to that class, huh?
They lost. They took away their telephone, their
know this country fucked us
cameras, their radios, anything that could communicate with Italy. Okay, so this is what happened to the Italian people in that period. Now, all of a sudden, FDR realizes that, hey, we got American-born Italians
Yeah.
living in this country. And many of them speak Italian. So, it'd be a good idea if we draft those Italian men and we ship them to Italy
Yep.
to fight Italians.
Smart, right?
Since they know the language. So what ends up happening, that
Sure.
the law that placed the Italians in these camps and took away their rights, so forth and so on, was lifted. Now, I think this is really interesting. It was lifted on October 12th, 1942. But
Nice.
notice,
Right after Columbus.
October 12th. Gee, Columbus Day. Now, remember, Columbus did not sail for Italians.
No.
There was no Italian country.
Spain.
He sailed for Spain.
Spain.
So here we are, October 12th, 1942, Italians are now freed from this encampment. We're being treated a little bit better. And if you talk to certain people in the United States, even today in 2020, Italians are still not considered white.
No, I never knew that.
We're still not considered white, and I could share a story about that at a later date. But so I said to myself, well, gee, it's very possible that the reason why Italians really celebrate October 12th is based on this issue.
Wow.
Is based on this
There you
issue.
go.
So Columbus Day, October 12th, should really be celebrated as a day that Italians received their freedom from encampments in the United States. So it's a big day for us to celebrate. Yeah. But I also would like to indirectly put this out there. Just remember that which party Franklin Delano Roosevelt belonged to, and he was the guy that put us in the camps and then later took us out. So,
all right.
Have a pleasant day. Thank you very much.
Doc. Come on, let's hear it. Great job. And that's our history moment with the doc.
An unconscious man with memory loss under a pile of trash has an out-of-body experience. He begins by following a homeless man that leads him to follow several people, a bird and a dog, until he discovers his partner is having him killed while a woman is praying for his life. He needs the aid of 2 homicide detectives to save him. During his following and the need for physical salvation, he learns the real purpose of being a follower and a higher form of salvation. Matt 2540 by Anthony F. Raimondo.